Hi everyone, it's me, Spring, the fiber enthusiast, and welcome to the channel. Today is going to be a crocheted beanie tutorial. And I want to give you a little back history on the entire pattern with your basic worsted weight yarn and a 5mm crochet hook. It is worked from the top down. Now the crown of this hat, the very top of this hat, let me show it a little bit better here. The crown of this hat you all might recognize a little bit. This crown is the Burst of Kindness beanie hat that Sanita has made up. So in the upper right hand corner, I am going to put a card that is going to send you over to her video on that section. Now, with respect for her, she asked me if I would do a beanie using her crown and this stitch. I said absolutely. So I asked her, and again, respect for her, she said I can do it from the top to the bottom, complete tutorial for you all. But I wanted to make sure that it was okay to record that part and that you all knew where it came from. So as I said, this part, this section here before the brim, for the most part, with the exception of 2 rows, this part right here is the same stitch as the tutorial that I did last week. So that is the thistle stitch. Now, instead of in the flat, I have changed it. We're working in the round. We do have to do a little extra increase in order to get to the point where we can work the thistle stitch. And then at the very end of the hat here, down at the brim, we just create a 2x1 ribbing. All right, so after all that's said and done, if you're still with me, the hat is called Combined Kindness. And the kindness is we are sending our hats to Bumblebee Mountain Outreach. That is by K&K Crochet. And in the upper right-hand corner, once again, there will be a card that's going to send you over to a video that is talking about Bumblebee Mountain Outreach. And all of the information will be down in the description box. So I have 3 colors for the tutorial that I'm going to be using. I am going to start off with this lighter color. Now this is just like a fleck yarn that Red Heart Super Saver had out. I don't know if it's even still available. A lot of what I'm using for my hats is leftovers. Then I'm going to run 1 round in this Red Heart really dark brown. And then I'm going to do the thistle stitch in this teal color. Really, really pretty. That's Caron Simply Soft. And then we're going to go in reverse. We'll go back to this and then finish the brim up with this. All right, now that you are up to date on that, we're going to grab our first color. You can do this from top to bottom in 1 solid color. Again, I'm choosing to do it in 3. So for the start of this, according to the directions from Sanita, we start with a magic ring. You can do a double magic ring, a single magic ring. If you do not like magic rings, you can start with a chain 4. That is perfectly okay. It is completely and entirely up to you. For the sake of the fact that I am following Sanita's tutorial as far as how to do the crown, I will be doing a double, had to think for a minute there, magic ring. So I have 2 strands around plus the one that I'm going to be using to pull through. So I'm going to pull that through. I am personally not a big magic ring person, so if you do yours differently, by all means, this is how I figured out how to do it. and it actually worked for me. As I said, if you like magic ring, that's great. If not, go for it and do a chain of 4 and slip stitch to your first chain. All right, so I've connected around those 2 strands plus my little tail here. So now I'm going to do 6 extended singles. So for your extended single, we're going to insert our hook into the ring, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now what we do is yarn over, and instead of going through both for a standard single, we're going to go through the first one and then yarn over and go through 2. So it's like this single crochet has a 2-step process. You go in, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 1, yarn over, go through 2. That's your 2-step process to an extended single. So that was 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once you have your 6, I would actually recommend using stitch markers and placing a stitch marker in your first stitch just to make it more ease to find that very first stitch. Once we close this up, it'll be more difficult. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here is 6. There we go. All right, so we have our 6. Now we're going to close this up. Let me get a loop up here so I don't lose it. We're going to close this ring up so we can join in the round. Now what you do is you take your tail and you give it a little tiny tug. This one drew near first, so now I'm going to pull the second one by pulling on that very first one that tightened up. So here we go. I'm tightening it up. And now I can pull the tail and pull that through. This right here is why I do not like magic ring, personally, is there is so much tail left over. And it usually ends up in my way and I cut it. So that's a personal opinion that is not reflectant on anybody in particular or any designers. This is just a personal opinion that I don't like all that extra tail. Okay, so now we can join in the round. I'm going to remove my stitch marker and slip stitch to that very first stitch. Okay, once you have slip stitched to the beginning, we're going to chain 1 and go into that first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now we're going to do an extended single, so yarn over, go through 1 loop, yarn over, go through 2 loops. Now we need to do a extended front post single. So we're going to go into the same stitch we just worked, and we're going to pop out the other side of that single. We're going to yarn over and pull through a loop and finish that off as an extended single. So the 2-step process here. Yarn over, go through 1, and yarn over, go through 2 to complete that stitch. Now we're going to repeat that in every stitch all the way around. At that point, you will have doubled your stitches to 12. So go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 1 loop, yarn over, go through 2 loops. Now we're going to do a extended front post. So we're popping that stitch forward, yarn over, pull a loop through, yarn over, go through 1, yarn over, go through 2. There's now 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. Go ahead and place my stitch marker. And we're going to do that all the way around. So one more time, we're going to go into this next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 1, yarn over, go through 2. Now do the front post extended single by going into the stitch, popping the post up, yarn over, pull that through, yarn over, go through 1, yarn over, go through 2. And you're going to go all the way around, and when you count back, you should have a total of 12 stitches. Okay, so once you have reached all the way around to the end, we have our 12 stitches. We're going to slip stitch to that very first stitch and chain 1. Now we're going to do the same thing, except we're adding another stitch. We're going to do an extend in this very first stitch. We're going to do an extended single, so yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over, go through 2. And now we're going to do 1 in the next stitch. So single, extended single, yarn over, pull up a stitch, yarn over, go through 1, yarn over, go through 2. Now we're going to go around that post. So this is the increase where you're doing 1 into the stitch and 1 front post extended single. It gets easier now that you have a line of front posts started. So let's do that again. It's 2 extended singles and then a front post. So we're going to go in to the next stitch and do an extended single, into the following stitch and do an extended single, around the post and an extended single. All right, so for round 3, you should have at the end a total of 18 stitches. I'll meet back up with you for round 4. All right, once you've come to the end of round 3 with 18 stitches, we're going to slip stitch to the first stitch and chain 1. For round 4, we're going to do 2 extended singles, so 1 in each of the next stitch, and then an increase in the following. So same as we've been doing, we're going to do the extended single 1, extended single 2, and now we do our increase, which is extended single and a front post extended single. And that is the repeat all the way around. So here's our next post right here, and we just work our stitches. There's our next post. Sorry, missed it. There's the next post right there. So we go in to the next stitch for 1 extended single, into the next for the second extended single, and then we do our increase right here next to our ridge. Extended single and a front post extended single. All right, so once you've made it to the end of round 4, you should have a total of 24 stitches. Slip stitch to your very first stitch, and I'll meet up with you at that point. All right, so once you've come to the end of round 4, you should have 24 stitches. Let's go ahead and begin round 5. Round 5 begins with 1 extended single into each of the next 3 stitches, and then we need to do an increase just as we have been doing. So we have a chain 1, we're slip stitch to that first stitch, and we're going to go in, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Extended single, that's 1. Extended single 2. extended single 3, and now we're going to do the increase, which is an extended single and then a front post extended single. So that is your repeat for the round. For round 5, you will do 1 extended single into each of the next 3 stitches. Then you will follow that up with an increase. The increase is 1 extended single and then a front post extended single around the post right next to it. When you've reached the end of round 5, you should have a total of 30 stitches. All right, for round 6, we are going to begin with an extended single back into that same stitch that you ended round 5 with. And you're going to place 1 extended single into each of the next 3 stitches. So that will be a total of 4 before your increase. Let me get my stitch marker in here. There we go. And now we're going to do our increase. You're going to place 1 extended single into the next stitch, and then 1 front post extended single around the post. Let's do that again. So 1 extended single into each of the next 4 stitches, and then do an extended single increase, okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we'll do the increase. So we're going to go in and do an extended single into the stitch, and then we're going to do an extended single front post around the post. You're going to go ahead and continue that all the way around. 1 extended single into each of the next 4 stitches, and then an extended single and increase. At the end of round 6, you should have a total of 36 stitches. All right, let's begin round 7. Round 7 is, we are going to do an extended single into this first stitch. Go ahead and get my stitch marker there. And 1 into each of the next 4 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we're going to do the increase where we're doing 1 extended single into the stitch and 1 extended front post single. Now let's go ahead and do the repeat. 1 extended single into each of the next 5 stitches. That's 3, 4, and 5. And now we're going to do our increase. 1 extended single and 1 extended front post single. And you're going to repeat that all the way around. When you get to the end, you should have a total of 42 stitches. I'll meet up with you at the end. All right, let's begin round 8. Round 8, we're going to place 1 extended single into the first 6 stitches. So I'm going to chain 1 and begin. All right, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we need to do the increase. So 1 extended single into the stitch, and 1 extended front post around the post. That is your repeat for round 8. 1 extended single in each of the next 6 stitches, then an increase. The increase is 1 extended single into the stitch, and then 1 extended front post single around your post. I'll meet up with you at the end of these 48 stitches. All right, we've reached the end of round 8. Let's begin round 9. Round 9, you're going to place 1 extended single into the next 7 stitches. So starting with the very first stitch, we're going to chain 1 just to close that up. And now we're going to go in, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 1, yarn over, go through 2. And we're going to repeat that 6 more times. All right, let's check and make sure that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Let me get my stitch marker in there before I go any further. Now we need to do our extended single increase. So we're going to go an extended single into the stitch and extended post, front post, single. And that is our repeat. 1 extended single into each of the next 7 stitches. And then you need to do an extended increase, which is an extended single into the stitch, and then an extended front post single around the post. At the end of this round, round 9, you should have 54 stitches, and I will meet up with you at that point. Okay. Once you have reached the end of your 54 stitches for round 9, we are going to do our last round of the burst of kindness. All right, so I am going to chain 1, and now we need to place 1 extended single into each of the following 8 stitches. Then we need to do a extended single and an extended single increase, which is your front post. So let's go ahead and do our 8 extended singles. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, so here's where we're going to do our increase. We do the extended single and then the extended single front post. And that is your repeat for our last round of the Burst of Kindness crown. 1 extended single into each of the next 8 stitches. Then you're going to do your increase, which is an extended single into the stitch, and then a front post extended single. When you come to the end of round 10, you should have a total of 60 stitches. I'll meet back up with you at that point. All right, so now we're looking at the top of the Burst of Kindness beanie crown. Now we're going to switch gears and we're going to go into working up the rest of the beanie. I will be switching colors at this time for 1 round and then switching again, and we'll continue that. You can do this in a solid color, as I said before. So I went ahead and sewn in all of my ends, and that way I'm good to go and we are ready to move on. So I'm going to move on to that deep chocolatey brown, and I'm going to remove my stitch marker for my starting point. Now you don't have to use stitch markers. I just put these in here to remind me that that is the stitch that I need to increase in. We will be doing three increases. I'm sorry. We will be doing 3 increases. And those increases are to bring us from a total of 60 stitches up to 63 stitches. That is what we need to work the thistle stitch in the round for the body of the pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this through and chain 1 to connect. All right. So in the first stitch, we're going to do 2 extended single crochets. So I'm going to go in and do 1 extended, and then I'm going to go back into that same stitch and do 1 more extended. Now you're going to work 1 extended single in the next 30 stitches. In the 31st stitch, you will increase. So we're going directly across. We're going to increase just like we did in the very first stitch and place 2 extended singles. Then you're going to work all the way to the end, and in the last stitch, you need to place 2 extended singles as well. All right, so we'll have an increase in the first stitch, an increase in the 31st stitch, and then an increase in the last stitch. That will give us a total of 63 stitches. I'm going to meet back up with you at the end where we slip stitch, and I'll change colors back to, we'll be going teal next, and I'll meet up with you at that point. All right, I have completed my last increase round. Now we're going to begin the body of the hat. So I'm changing colors once again. This is just Caron Simply Soft. It's some leftover yarn that I have. I'm going to pull through a loop. Shorten that up a little bit here. All right, so you can do one of 2 things. I'm going to go ahead and attach with a slip stitch there, or chain 1. So you can do one of 2 things. You can chain 2 and continue on. You can chain 3, that style of start. Or you can do like I do and do the, it's like a mock double crochet or chainless start. So sometimes you can chain 1 and then just do a double crochet. I don't like that great big long loop on the side. So what I do is I pull up a loop and I wrap it around my hook. So my finger's right here. I teach this in almost every one of my tutorials where I'm doing double crochets like this. Wrap it around so that way there's 2 loops on my hook. I insert my hook into that first stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. So now I have 3 loops on my hook, just like a double crochet. Yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over and pull through 2. Now I'm going to place my stitch marker at the top under those 2 legs, just like a double crochet. And now I'm good to go. Now I'm ready to work on the rest of the hat. And I'm going to do that at the beginning of every single round. All right, so I need to skip 1, 2, and place 5 double crochets into the next stitch. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to skip 2 and place 1 double crochet into each of the next 2 following stitches. So skip 1 and 2 and 1 double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. go. And that is your repeat. A shell of 5 double crochets, skip 2, 1 double crochet into the following 2 stitches. So we skip 2, 1, 2, and place a shell, 5 double crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now again, skip 1, 2, and place 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. Now we're going to do this all the way around. You'll be ending the round with 1 double crochet and slip stitching to the top of your first double crochet. So what that's going to do is you're going to have a shell, 1 double crochet to complete that set of 2 double crochets. I'll meet up with you at that point. All right, so here I have made my last shell. I'm going to skip 1, 2 and place the last double crochet into that stitch. And now I'm going to slip stitch to that first double crochet like such. So there we go. Now what I'm going to do is we are going to begin. That was the setup round. We're now going to begin our repeats. We're going to go into the space right here, the space between the 2 double crochets. We're going to yarn over and just slip stitch. There we go. So now we're connected. We need to place 3 double crochets into that. That's part of your 5. The 5 double crochet shell, we're putting a half of 1 in there. So we're going to put 3 double crochets. We'll finish it at the end. So again, I'm going to start with that mock double crochet. Place my stitch marker here. There we go. And I'm going to place 2 more double crochets in there. And now we're going to skip over to our next shell here, our shell. And we're going to skip the first 2 double crochets. And in between the second and the third, in between them, we're going to place a double crochet. Then you're going to skip the third double crochet, and next to it, between it and the fourth, you're going to place another double crochet. Now we're going to skip over the last 2 of that shell, and in between those 2 double crochets that stand alone by themselves, we're going to place a shell, so 5 double crochets. It's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so as you're looking at this, your repeat is skip 3. So skipping 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and place a double crochet in between the posts. We're placing a double crochet. Then we're going to skip over the next post and double crochet. Now we're going to skip over to where those 2 double crochets are in between the shells. And in between those 2 double crochets, we're making a shell. So 5 double crochets. It's 2, 3, 4, and 5. There we go. All right, so you're going to repeat that all the way around. And when we get over here towards the end, I'll meet back up with you and show you how to finish this round. All right, so we're coming to the end of our first round of the 2-round repeat. So here we are. I finished this last shell with the 2 double crochets. Now I need to reach over and complete this very first shell with 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. And the reason we do this is so that way we're set up for the next repeat. So I'm going to slip stitch to that very first double crochet. Now I can slip stitch over in between the stitch I'm at and the next stitch. And that is going to put me right in between where I need to be to begin the second round of the 2 round repeat for the body of the hat. So here we are, we're at a shell. We're between the 3rd and the 4th stitch. We need to place a double crochet. So I'm gonna do a mock double crochet. And put my stitch marker in. There we go. And now we're going to reach over, and in between the 2 double crochets that's on top of the previous shell, we're going to place a shell. So 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to jump over to our next shell and skip the first 2 doubles and place a double between the 2nd and 3rd. Remember, we're going between stitches, not into the top of stitches. Now we're going to go between the 3rd and the 4th double and place another double crochet. So we're doing the same thing, it's just offset. If there's 2 standalone double crochets, you know a shell goes in there between those double crochets. If it is a shell, you know you're going to skip 2, double crochet between the 2nd and 3rd, skip over 1, and double crochet between the 3rd and the 4th. Continue on around, and you're going to finish this one up with a double crochet between the 2nd and 3rd, between the 2nd and 3rd double crochets, and slip stitch to the top of your starting double crochet, because we're working into the top of a shell. All right, I will meet back up with you to complete this round, and then you will repeat the repeating rounds 2 and 3 2 more times. All right, so I've done my last shell. I'm here at the end. I need to skip over and place my last double crochet. So remember, this is a shell on the row below, and we started with 1 double crochet. So we need to complete that with our 2nd double crochet and slip stitch to our very first double crochet. And that sets us up to begin our repeats. We're going to slip stitch into that space, create a mock double crochet, place our stitch marker, and then place 2 more double crochets into that space. And that's half of our shell. And then we're going to carry on repeating round 2 of this body. So this was our setup row. We had round 2, which was the first of the 2 round repeat. Round 3 was our second round of the repeat. And now we're repeating round 2. You're going to repeat round 2 and 3 a total of 2 more times. So that is this section here. Once I have completed this section here, I'm going to switch colors again, and we're going to do something a little different once again. and then we will begin the brim. I'll be back with you once I have all of my repeats completed, and we will move on to the next step. All right, so once you have completed the amount of rows for the body, your repeats, you had your base row, then we had our very first 2 rows, and then you were to repeat it 2 more times. Then we're going to cut away and begin the last little part. I'm going to go ahead and sew in this end, and I'll be right back. All right, so I'm going to go back to that real deep chocolate brown for 1 round, and I'm just going to grab a stitch here. It doesn't matter where, just any stitch. I'm going to pull through and chain 1 just to lock everything in place. Now we're going to do 1 full round of an extended single crochet. Had to think there for just a second. An extended single crochet. So we're going to go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 1, yarn over, go through 2. And I'm going to place my stitch marker in that position of our first stitch. And then we're going to carry on, and we're just going to work 1 extended single crochet all the way around for all 63 stitches. So when you get to the end of this round, you should have a total of 63 extended single crochets. Then I'm going to switch colors, and we're going to do the brim. All right, when you come to the end, we're just going to slip stitch to that very first stitch. And I'm going to cut away from this and pick up my new color, which is the top of the hat, the same color. And I'm just going to pick a stitch. It does not matter what stitch. You can work into that same stitch you just slip stitch to. And if you're going with the same color, you just carry on. Move that tail down a little bit. All right. So I'm just going to do that to lock in place. Now I'm going to do 1 round of double crochets, 1 double crochet in every stitch. So we're just going to start this with a mock double crochet and move on. 1 double crochet in every stitch all the way around for a total of 63 double crochets. And I will meet up with you at the end of the round. All right, so we've made it to the end, and we have our 63 double crochets. We're going to slip stitch to the first stitch. Now we're going to end every round and begin every round exactly the same. Now, if you don't feel comfortable making a chainless start mock double crochet and you want to chain, that's fine. But still go around it, slip stitch around the chain. So you would, if this was a chain here, you would slip stitch around it and do your next chain. That way you're keeping that same look of it being a front post. 2 by 1 ribbing, 2 front, 1 back. Because I'm doing a mock double crochet, I'm going to take it right from where I'm at slipping the end to the beginning. I'm going to go around, and then I'm going to go behind the post. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over, go 2. Yarn over, go through 2. And all we're doing is we're getting rid of that chain up look. We're going to keep the same look here. All right, now we're going to front post double crochet the next stitch and back post double crochet the following stitch. And repeat. Front post double crochet each of the next 2 stitches. So we're going from right to left under the post and double crochet. And then from behind, right to left, going over the post for a double crochet, for back post double crochet. And you're going to repeat this all the way around, ending and beginning the same way. So I have a row of double crochets. I have 1, 2, 3 rounds of 2x1 ribbing, front post, back post, all the way around. You can make your brim a lot larger if you would like. It is entirely up to you. You can make a really long one where you can roll it up. You can leave it at 3 rounds of front post, back posts. That's up to you, however you so choose to make it. So that's it for the Combined Kindness beanie. I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial. And if you can't donate to K&K with Bumblebee Mountain Outreach, that's fine. If you want to donate locally, I encourage that as well. But this hat is going to her, and so is this one. All right, everyone, be blessed, be a blessing, and until next time, bye for now.